are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about crypto news, because the bounce back is real, right? The crypto market is coming back in a very sharp way, and we have to talk about altcoins, because some of the altcoins that we really like and appreciate are having great news and are looking great, and the altcoin setup in itself is looking really, really good. And one of these altcoins is Vechain, and I think the news cannot be much bigger than that. So that is what we are going for, and make sure to stay tuned all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you. Sorry for that. I don't know what is happening, but I realized in the first second that my microphone was again somehow set on another microphone. I don't know why this is happening, but it really sucks. Anyways, make sure to smash up the like button first thing in the morning, and then let's have a deep sip of Crypto Morning Coffee. And I want to really thank all the rare hodlers here around me for supporting me here on this journey, on this investment journey, on this channel. And I think there are such great times ahead, like January the 20th. Absolutely, I see some excitement in the chat already. So we have JJ Boyk here, when Audi. Well, I don't know if that's what we should buy. G-Money is here. Good morning to you. Trucking Hank is here, of course. Also, good morning. Look at all these gold medal hodlers. Holy. G-Money, Trucking Hank. Green Lantern is here. GM, fellow hodlers. And we see also JW. Good morning. And Jasper Frank, right? So a lot of people here already. Smash up the like button. Green Lantern says present, training and paying attention. Have a great workout. I also have been after my big laziness in Brazil. I had my first workout yesterday, and I took it really easy, but still hurts. Looking forward to that. I think what makes the most money besides crypto holders or investors is the gyms after New Year's Eve, right? And the gym is full, like really full. All these people that go for 3 or 4 weeks, and then it gets better because half of them drops off. But that's basically that. Now, enough with the small talk. Let's jump right in. We have Bitcoin going very well. Yeah, green candle here, going upwards. We are back 8.6% from the sweep basically here at 89,000, and I think there are reasons for it. But before we go into the reasons, I want to discuss a little bit the sentiment in the market, right? You know this, and we have looked at it many times. Ignore the circle and the red arrow. It's just there for something else. But I just need this chart, right? And you know how we went through all this anger and depression phase, came to disbelief. Let's move this a little bit to the side. Came to disbelief. We remember, right, that basically the disbelief rally was in when the until or into where the Bitcoin ETFs were approved, and then after that we had this long flagging part, and then we had another shoot up to beyond 100k, where the market said, okay, this rally is real now. Where I would say, but let me know what you think where we are. I would say we are now somewhere between optimism and belief, as this pullback did not seem very much like thrill. And also we thought that retail is coming back in hard when Bitcoin hits 100k or breaks 100k. And I think we were collectively, we, the YouTubers, everyone else, were collectively wrong on this, right? So we can look at this a little bit later, but I would say we are only somewhere between optimism and belief, maybe in belief, time to get fully invested. I think that was what many people said around 100k. But this thrill euphoria phase, maybe that's missing, right? That's our last leg. We will see. But there's a lot of doubt, a lot of, hey, maybe the cycle is over already, and so on. That was during that tells me that we are not in any of these phases, nor is it really a complacency phase, right? I mean, technically you could say, people are saying we just need to cool off for the next rally, which is the main marker of the complacency, but none of the top indicators has flashed, right? And I would say complacency is then identified when top indicators flash and people are saying that, right? And all this I am genius, we are all going to be rich, altcoins have not fired. So definitely we are not there. We are in belief. Okay, so what is happening? Here the basically the cycle comparison once again. Are you ready for euphoria? 2015 and 17. Let's move this here. And 2019-21 bull markets average scaled to 2023 and 24 is what we are looking at. And you see that we're perfectly aligned with the lower band of these averages, of this average cycle, right? So we are definitely in this pullback zone. And by the way, if you look at all of this, there is every time, no matter what you are looking at, there is a pullback at around this time. And maybe there's a little bit more pullback left in this, right? We don't know yet, but definitely not at the end point, not at the tipping point here. Now, why? Why is it so good? And that might be the answer to it. Coinbase scores partial win as court demands SEC to clarify crypto regulation. So we see already a swing here from the courts at the SEC, as the SEC is going to change head. And you see here the US Court of Appeals for Third Circuit affirmed that the SEC must explain why it denied Coinbase's petition. So what the SEC did in the past, for everyone who wasn't there, is they did not sue directly only crypto projects. Mainly they sued exchanges for hosting these for offering these crypto projects, right? Also they sued Coinbase, and they sued them after saying come in and register and get clarity on regulation, right? And then Coinbase did that, and they didn't get clarity, and then they got sued, right? So Coinbase was ever since fighting and suing back the SEC. So Coinbase petitioned the agency to clarify how securities laws apply to cryptocurrencies. No answer given at all, only mafia tactics, right? And the court added that it will not mandate the SEC to implement new rules for crypto assets, right? It will not mandate, but we know that we have a change in the SEC. Yesterday we listened to Charles Hoskinson. There is this crypto council, so everything points at the direction that exchanges will have it more easy to offer cryptocurrencies, meaning we're not talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly. We're talking mainly about altcoins, so it's very great for altcoins. We're looking at an SEC that lays the groundwork for crypto but doesn't have to, maybe goes easier on crypto. And we have a government that is coming in that is extremely altcoin friendly, right? So all the altcoins that we're going to discuss in the course of the stream, they are going to benefit greatly from that. Okay, so and Gensler on his way out even is revealing that he is actually, you could suspect even that he might be a secret crypto holder, even though he's not saying anything about that, or he's denying even that, but someone in his family might hold crypto, or somewhere he has a secret wallet. So listen to this. As he's on the way out, he sounds completely different, so you already know he was playing the fiddle of agenda for someone, right? So listen to this.
Yeah, I think that Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset, but with 7 billion people around the globe, 7 billion people want to trade it, just like we do have gold for 10,000 years. We have Bitcoin. It might be something else in the future as well. Right. These other thousands of projects need to show their use case and show that they actually have fundamentals underlying them, or they won't persist, Joe.
Oh my God,
and
you own
that's
Bitcoin.
Where the public. That's why the public needs disclosure.
That's what it's.
I don't.
You love
I've
it.
never owned.
You love.
I've never.
You love it. You don't like those other coins.
I've never owned any of these, and I've been consistent for 7 or 8 years on this.
Well, now you can't, because you won't be a SEC chair anymore.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. So first of all, he says that the altcoins need to show a use case, otherwise they wouldn't persist. Yeah, so what about Dogecoin and Chip and so on? It persists and it literally doesn't have a use case, or any other bigger meme coin, right? It persists, doesn't have a use case. So yeah, maybe if you look at decades, that's true. Maybe people will walk away from one meme to another and so on. But in the end, right now we see that it doesn't really matter. That people are desperate for something that brings them bigger returns than government bonds, holding fiat, or investing in the stock market, where you... do you know this meme? I don't have it up here, but it was basically like this. I did a financial calculation and I only have to work until 97 to then live comfortably for 11 minutes on financial freedom, right? So it's like the calculation for these investments is like, oh, I have these dividend stocks and I only have to wait another 250 years to be financially free, right? So people are willing to give up the traditional way and try it with something else. And I think that's what we're seeing in the market with these coins. And well, Gensler is like, Bitcoin is highly volatile and speculative. Well, that volatility, and this is what people are watching these news channels, and this like CNBC and all these others, and they're like, oh yeah, it's highly volatile and speculative, right? As if stock investment in a fairly new company wouldn't be speculative and volatile, right? But it deprives this way of let's say anti-crypto propaganda deprives people of the only way to make returns that are greater than the average 8 to 20% that you get out of stock market, where people that can put literally less than $1,000 per month aside will never have anything, right? So that is basically it's not good, let's say it that way. But you guys are here, you guys know different, and I'm very sure that you will have a different stance on it. Another thing that could have pumped the crypto price is this one here from Trump. So let's listen to this also, because this policy, these promises are now going to hit the office in less than 6 days, right? Or in 6 days. So let's listen to this one as well.
This onslaught at lower prices, I'm pledging today that in my second term, we will eliminate a minimum of 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. We'll be able to do that quite easily, actually. And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin. This onslaught at lower.
Okay, so I think the most important part is making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin. To make that happen, you need to ease the regulation and taxation up so much, and the environment and bringing up the environment so much that it outcompetes Singapore and Dubai and all these other nations, El Salvador and so on. Well, El Salvador and some smaller countries are maybe not be as attractive for other reasons, right? For the crypto industry. So the US was attractive. It hasn't been for the past 4 or 5 years. And now Trump wants to make it so that it is again. And I think that is that's insanely good for crypto and altcoins, especially altcoins, because all these innovative projects, they will get a regulation that actually favors them. It's maybe not even like only freeing it from the shackles, but it's also actively not subsidizing, but actively helping them, laying a nourishing ground for these projects to come up, to flourish, and to not be hindered, and to be able on exchanges, right? And if you are looking at altcoins that have all this these talks about, hey, is that a security, and maybe that is going away, maybe these all will come up again because of such things, right? So I think that is good, a good point, right? And I have a lot of voices here for us, but I think that's also good. We also have BlackRock here giving a little bit of a glimpse into, like a BlackRock representative giving a little bit of a glimpse into where things are going. So let's also listen to this.
It's interesting because at the end of last year, you saw Bitcoin skyrocket above $100,000 per Bitcoin. You saw that interest really start to taper off at the beginning of this year. You've had an incredibly successful launch. You have had some outflows in the product in more recent weeks. What do you make of that as you enter year 2?
Yeah, well, I think big picture, it was a pretty incredible first year for IBIT. Obviously, record-setting on a lot of dimensions, including inflows and asset accumulation. And as we come into year 2 now, we're focused on a lot of the same stuff that we were in year 1, which is really being a valuable resource and an education partner to many of our clients. As we've talked about in the past on this show, we're still quite early days in terms of the adoption of the wealth advisory and the institutional segment. And so we're spending a lot of time engaging with those types of clients.
Is that where the growth is? We just heard from Kavita Gupta at Delta Blockchain, who said institutional is the next catalyst in 2025. I mean, how much opportunity is there?
Well, certainly the third bucket, which we refer to as end investors direct, was gangbusters out of the gates, right? And these other 2 categories, wealth advisory and institutional, there are much greater hurdles in terms of their process and the research and diligence that they go through.
Of those 2 buckets, which is a bigger opportunity?
It's hard to pick one, but probably wealth advisory, actually, because there's a lot of sort of momentum around firms that are working through their expedited approvals processes to allow advisors to actually put these ETPs in client portfolios. But institutional is very significant as well, and that's an education journey for many that's been playing out over the year. And we're starting to see more of them emerge, particularly over the last quarter, I would say. You saw more institutions and a little bit more wealth advisory in the overall mix of inflows.
Okay, so I saw that Jasper said the clip volume is a little low. I tried in the last seconds to up it a little bit. Hopefully I can do that for the last. It depends on what the actual taken volume is. But the important part here, so this was Robert Mitchnick from BlackRock. He's the head of digital assets, and basically he sees that all this adoption is still coming, and I would agree. I mean, you see that we are looking at a couple of companies like MetaPlanet and MicroStrategy and so on that are adopting Bitcoin, and now we have also Facebook Meta allowing to put a little bit of the remaining 72 billion cash as a hedge against inflation. Remember, guys, when we were in the bear market and we did the live streams, a couple of you were here. All the rare hodlers with the golden medal, they definitely were here already. And you remember when there were people in the chat that were like, haha, Bitcoin a hedge against inflation. Now it's basically companies that are using it as a hedge against inflation. And he sees even more potential in the wealth advisory, where basically all these firms are now taking Bitcoin ETPs into these portfolios, right? So basically the Bitcoin ETF has become an investment vehicle that is directly taking Bitcoin from the market and makes partial shares of other portfolios, right? And I think that is, we have discussed this as well. You remember we had a stream where I laid out how these layers of a fund that takes an ETF, where this part of the fund's money of the ETF purchases directly Bitcoin, and how even these funds are used in other funds. So it becomes basically a domino sequential, right? To it dripping into Bitcoin, and this has only started right now. So you see that which company? I think it was Google, right? Where the shareholders basically denied Google from where only 0.5% voted in favor of taking Bitcoin into the balance sheet. I think it was Google. I think it was Google. And we have all these, like from the top 10 companies in the NASDAQ and from many companies worldwide, there are only a fraction invested in Bitcoin, right? They all have to ask their shareholders. Once they do, we will know about it, but they didn't yet. So I think Apple doesn't have Bitcoin. Google doesn't have Bitcoin. I don't know if Nvidia, but I think Nvidia also doesn't have Bitcoin. But also think about traditional industry, like Coca-Cola doesn't have Bitcoin. All car manufacturers don't own Bitcoin. The pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, all these Unilevers and whatnot, like all these big giants, they do not own any Bitcoin right now. There are a couple of companies, more innovative companies, tech companies, that are going into Bitcoin in a different way. And I think that's another one to keep in mind, right? Remember when a couple of months ago, German Telecom, announced that they are doing Bitcoin mining, that they would do some Bitcoin mining, and actually that they are testing out mechanisms how to store energy into the Bitcoin network, in the sense that they use surplus energy at themselves and their customers to mine Bitcoin, take this Bitcoin, and in times of lacking energy, they use the Bitcoin to buy energy from somewhere else, right? And hence they have somehow stored this in the network. And this is crazy because Germany especially needs it, right? As Germany made the extremely smart move to shut down all their nuclear power plants, and then had a net negative of energy production, has to purchase from the countries around it this missing energy, and maybe that's exactly the way that it needs now, right? Maybe Germany needs Bitcoin mining with surplus energy to then purchase energy from other states, right? But we will see. So Germany is a long way from that, to do that as a country. But maybe that's necessary if we already do not want to rely on our own energy production anymore, right? Oh yeah, it was Microsoft. Green Lantern, you're right. Very true, very true. Sub 0.5% shareholder decision in favor of Bitcoin reserve was Microsoft. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So overall, the Bitcoin hash rate is hitting new all-time highs, which usually also makes Bitcoin at some point hitting new all-time highs, as Bitcoin price trails this hash rate. Makes absolutely sense, right? Because the more people are mining, the less basically all the miners get from it, so they have to either increase their hash rate or increase the price on selling their Bitcoin, right, to compete in the market. And in order to increase the hash rate, they have to sell Bitcoin at higher price to buy new mining equipment. So there's that. But let's look at the market and let's get a glimpse at altcoins as promised in the thumbnail and title. Let's look at the altcoins. So the altcoins have a great day. The altcoin market is led by XDC in the top 100 at least with 20%, but also IOTA, Casper, Algorand, EOS and XRP having great days with around 10 to 12%, XLM, HBAR as well, LDO as well, and then we have a lot of green in the market around 1 to 5%. Also Hex, I don't know, like in my opinion Hex shitcoin, but the founders literally on the run and so on. By the way, guys, if you enjoy more altcoin live coverage here, then smash up the like button, please. And yeah, let's have a quick look at the market. So you see here on this bubble chart in the cohorts, we see that everything's green. Everything. There's not one fraction that isn't, and everything is up on average 2 to 3%, right? Some up 4% or so, but that's basically it. Let's look at the top 200 and see what's pumping there. We have ARK with 35% leading the charge on that one, and there are a couple of meme coins like AIXBT. I think that's like from that logo at least. It needs to be Bitcoin, but also CHEX, Aero is up. What is that? Fraser AI. I've never heard of it, to be honest. Horizon is up. So there's a lot of stuff coming up from the deeper levels and is new. So, but we also see like the older projects like Engine doing good. Mana is up a little bit and so on. So overall, a green day on the altcoin market, although on the weekly, everything's still red, right? So we are recovering here from deeper in the red. But don't worry, things will come back in my opinion. And the reason for this is this, right? I mean, it doesn't get more perfect than this chart you will see in a second, right? This is just so you know what we're looking at. This is the total 2. This is the crypto total market cap, excluding BTC and stables. Everything else, including Ethereum, is in that. Look how extremely juicy that looks, right? So you have this massive cup and handle, right? The handle broke out, and now you have a retest that goes on since a month or so, right? Since mid-December. Now it's mid-January. So this retest is a 22% drawdown in the entire altcoin market. That feels absolutely disgusting, right? But it's necessary. And we didn't, like this resistance, it's drawn in here since ever, right? We didn't even draw anything or move anything. But look how perfect this is, right? You have a sweep a little bit under it to scare everyone out, and then you have your retest, bam, directly on it, and it seems it wants to continue to the upside, right? Look how perfect this is. This back test on a more macro basically going on here, right? So I think at some point this will be done and it will fire to the upside for all altcoins, right? You can check a little bit about, so you can take Ethereum out, then you go to, so on TradingView, if you want to check these on your own, which I think you should, because it's basically, it's more accurate than looking at a separate altcoin. You can also take Ethereum out and then then you can be looking at the total 3, right? So without Ethereum, but it's not as accurate in my opinion at the moment. I mean, you have the same level here. You have the same retest going on. It's like perfect hit on this line. And this here, basically, this was drawn on a higher scale. But this is the previous all-time high. It just hit the previous all-time high here and came back, right? But you see here, perfect retest also on the total 3 without Ethereum on top of this. And you see how it exactly follows our very long set prediction here for how the market will be going, right? I mean, until now, it's pretty accurate, right? You come out of the slump, right? Like the blue line, you have your first little high, you have an extended drawdown, you come up again a little bit earlier than this suggests, and now you're correcting in. So I don't know how long this correction will go on, maybe another week, maybe 2, but then I expect this to follow this upwards line, right? And I think there could be, it could be massive. I mean, look at this. I mean, that would be a $6.5 trillion market cap for all altcoins except Ethereum, and taking out Bitcoin and Ethereum. If that would happen, that would be crazy, but because we're just under $1 trillion, right? It would be a 6x out of the market. It can happen, it doesn't have to, right? But the trajectory overall for me is relatively clear here, where this is going in the next couple of months. This correction could take, it could take another month or 2, right? We don't know, but we also have pumped a little bit earlier, so maybe this is, we go this whole trajectory a little bit earlier. Maybe I mean, timing is the hardest, right? Not the direction, but the timing is the hardest. But anyways, and then you can, for altcoins, you can take out the top 10 and you'll basically look at others. And with others, it's a little bit of a different story, as others got rejected here on this line, and it doesn't have this perfect retest on top, right? So others get a little bit smashed, but I'm not so worried about this, as long as we have, let's go on a little bit higher time frame to see if a high on a higher time frame a nice candle is in the cards. So others alone, it basically shows us that what's doing best right now are the top 10, right? Or even the top 5. So yeah, this one here is still forming a pattern. Maybe you could argue something like, oh, you have here another, it's not clear as well, right? You don't get a clear picture here, right? But yeah, basically judging from this is not clean, right? The other two are clean. This is not clean. So the volume is really nice here for the others, but we will have to see how this continues, right? So the support here is, yeah, basically we're right now sitting on top. Let's put a line here on top of these candle close. We're just recovering above this. So what we ideally want to see is that we are in the end closing the month out on top of this high at least, right? So that, because here we're clearly under it right now, under this, where the others are above it. We don't want to see that, right? Because it would invalidate. Here we see on the monthly, we clearly see that we're trying to stay above this, right? So we don't want to invalidate the whole pattern, right? Okay, so we want to ideally have a green candle here above this on the others chart, but it also shows it's not the time yet for the small ones in comparison, right? I mean, some have run already a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what is, in my opinion, going to happen. Let's get to altcoins, because the story of today is Vechain, and Vechain has something fantastic, something big coming, right? It's already a couple of days old, but I haven't covered it since I'm only back, like this, the third Crypto Morning Coffee. I haven't covered it yet. So let's look into this. If you're a Vechain holder, smash up the like button. If you're not, but you're still interested in this, smash also the like button. After that, we're going to talk about Mcade, we're going to talk about Verasity, we're going to talk about other altcoins, Ecomi, Veve, right? So we're trying to fit all of that in today. But here, this is Sunny Lu, founder and CEO of Vechain, and I already saw him live last year. The live video is on this channel. So great guy in my opinion, and great project in my opinion. So what they did is they they brought out a new roadmap. So exactly what we want for Ecomi as well. And I think it's necessary, right? So highlights, EVM upgrades for compatibility for Vechain, right? That's good, but it's not the major part of this new roadmap. Dynamic gas fees to enhance security. We don't exactly know what that means, but we will see. New model of validator allowing everyone to participate permissionless. That's great, because before in the proof of authority mechanism there were only 101 validators, and it was not permissionless, in my opinion at least. And then new NFT for Eco and X node, new Eco node levels to lower the entry. So basically what you had is in order to participate on the Vechain profit model with Vetho, you could buy these nodes, but they were extremely high priced. So the entry barrier was extremely high to become a node, like a validator node or an economy node and so on, right? So now you can purchase these nodes at lower prices as NFT, as it seems to me at least, or during this roadmap, right? Limited supply for Eco node NFTs. Okay, so they're making it scarce, so the aftermarket is a little bit more competed maybe. So, and now the most important thing. Weighted delegation consensus empower the Eco nodes and X nodes to secure the network and earning higher APYs up to 30%. Ideal scenario would be around 10%. Reduced VTHO inflation rate by around 70% in dynamic curve shape. This is important because VTHO is the gas, right? And you earn from a fraction. So some in a transaction until now, if VTHO, if the gas is being used by an enterprise to mint something on the chain, and it goes through validator, then a part is being destroyed and a part goes as a reward to the validator, right? And at the same, on the other side, you lock up Vechain tokens, VET token, to generate the gas, right? And now if the inflation is reduced by 70%, that means you need to lock up more to generate more, or you don't generate as much anymore. And then the price of Vetho goes up, which incentivizes TVL, right? And TVL is extremely important for the VET token to go up, right? So this is very, very good, because that means that that everyone who wants to participate in that APY generation here needs to lock up more VET, and therefore TVL goes up, and therefore the Vechain price goes up, right? So we have that incentive to higher VET staking percentage for the entire network from 3 to 30 up to 70%. So here basically what they did is they up the reward for staking Vechain, right? For the entire network, which is from 3 to 30% is insane, and up to 70% is even more insane, right? So yeah, we will see how that actually plays out. All of the tasks are targeted to finish within 12 months. Very challenging. But why within 12 months? Because that's the bull run, right? In 12 months, it's almost guaranteed that the bull run is over. So all of these tasks are supposed to be finished in 12 months. No one cares when they are finished. It's only people will start talking about it again. Influencers will show how great Vechain is based on these new roadmap items. And that's exactly what other projects that are from the last cycle also need to do. They need to revolutionize their system to compete, right? Because other chains, they are coming out, they're doing the same, and they offer better models. So you have to revolutionize. And Vechain is exactly doing what I demand from Ecomi. They post every day. They are they are everywhere on all the congresses and I don't know what. They close partnerships, they talk about it, and they bring a new roadmap, right? So Vechain does everything what I expect and want from Ecomi, right? So let's see how this plays out. But I think this is great for Vechain, and I think it will benefit also the price of Vechain. Let's look at the Vechain chart once again. Yesterday we looked at it, and you see here also basically you have on the monthly, you have a cup and handle pattern that did not break out, right? That's everything we need to know. It just didn't break out. Let me see quickly on the log scale. Okay, so on the non-logarithmic, right? You see it here also is a clean, crystal clear cup and handle pattern. And if you take the measured move out of this and say, okay, once we break out, the target for this is almost 8 cents, right? So it's basically where this wick went. This is the breakout, only that we didn't have candle body closes above it. So all this breakout is coming again, right? So this is the measured move for the cup and handle for Vechain. I think it's going to go much higher, but this is only the first breakout, right? I mean, you see it here. In the last cycle, we had the exact same setup, right? Look at this. It had a candle here where it also didn't come out. The first candle body it closed above initiated the rally, and the rally went within only 3 months. It went all the way to 28 cents. So even if it underperforms the last performance here, the month closed at 20%, right? At 20 cents, right? That's where we want to definitely take profit, a little bit even under it, right? That's where we want to take profit, not only there, but also on the way up, right? So Vechain, in my opinion, it didn't break out. And you see why, because the other on the others chart, you see that all these altcoins that are below the top 10, they don't get much love right now. I mean, there are still altcoins that go 10x and so on. But if you look at Vechain, for example, from the bottom, it's not that bad, right? I mean, in comparison to other coins, it's not that bad. If you take the absolute bottom, you go up. It's up 250% right now, and it has been up. If you would have taken profits at the first target, it has been up about 6x, right? 500%. It has been up. It lost 50% in this correction. And yeah, I suppose it's going to go much higher. So obviously, it's not a new cycle coin with a $1 million market cap, but it's extremely established. So the risk is lower, in my opinion, and it formed its bottom on top of the previous breakout levels, basically. So it's not that it ever came back to the prices that it had in the last cycle, which is good, right? But overall, that's it for Vechain. Looking forward to much more news and nice price action on this one, right? Okay, so let's look at Mcade also. Here's a nice post. So to get a little bit more, yesterday someone commented they want to know more about Mcade. So let's look at what Mcade has to offer here from statistical standpoint. So here's why Mcade will be the next billion-dollar gaming platform. I mean, we will see about that, but definitely it's a good project, and it has like nice fundamentals, really nice fundamentals, because there's not much vesting, circulating supply and so on, right? It has been going sideways for a long time. Now it's retesting, so the entry is still nice, but obviously in its little bear market it was even better, right? So Mcade, 77,000 Mcade holders, that's pretty good. Hyper casual gaming and play to earn. $50,000 reward to players, so players are heavily incentivized to come on the platform. Number one in play to earn building on base, so it's on base. There's a lot of hype on projects on base, so everything that's on base pretty good. Everything that's on BNB is a little bit we don't know yet. Metacade AI tech stack, that's very good because it has a strong AI story. So gaming and AI story in one. Very good. 90% games, library partners, ambassador programs. So here we see it also, like all these all projects, they have to have something like this. This is something else that I think Veve and Ecomi should do. So basically they should do a map like this with all the brands and so on, and just post that, right? This is on Veve. These are the partners. These are the tech partners and so on for Ecomi, Veve. I don't know. Like they should map this out. So what we see is like there's a lot of different games. Like here, for example, Wilder World. This is a known one, right? They are partnered with Metacade, right? And this is cool because all the games that, if they want to do tournaments and if they want to engage in this way, in this crypto way, they can use Mcade, and Mcade is the infrastructure for them. That's crazy. They have an ambassador program. They are on a couple of exchanges already. Wait until it hits more exchanges. I mean, they're on Bitmart, on BitGet, BingX, BitUnix. They are not on big exchanges just yet. Will they? It's not a guarantee, but it's likely because they have good trading volume. Sometimes they have, I think, what was it that they posted about? I think they had a couple of million trading volume just on these exchanges, which is attractive to other exchanges for a cheaper listing, right? And they're on Base, obviously, which is, I think, the right move, because if you are having transactions in the mix, which you have to have if you play to earn and all this stuff, then you basically have to have a cheap ecosystem, right? So that is good for Mcade. Let's take also a look at Mcade once again. Mcade USDT, where did it, I think we looked at this, right? Yeah, so there we go. We also want ideally to close our monthly on above this. And do you see how similar this is to the Vechain wicks? Long wick, and closing. Yeah, maybe breaking out, right? Maybe breaking out where Vechain is not breaking out. So that would show that Mcade is actually very strong. But on the weekly, you see how juicy this retest is. You see this massive double bottom and breakout, retest, and boom, it will pump so hard if this holds. The week closes in 4 days. We're going to monitor this, but it will fire very, very hard, in my opinion. And considering that this is up already from the absolute bottom right now about 500%, that's a 6x. So let's say from here, from this retest, it goes 10x. That would mean buying at the bottom, you get a 60x. And potentially, even if it does a 10x from here, it's probably not in the end of this rally. But what's very important here is that don't do this mistake where you are going. I don't know what's going on with my trading view here. Why is it crashing? I hope you're still there, guys. But I don't know. Trading view is giving me a hard time here. You see it. It's loading. Hopefully, I'm not getting rugged here by the internet or something like that. But as Rona says, smash the likes, and he also said, I hope you're doing well. I'm ready for more content. Bring it on. Absolutely. Thank you very much. For more content, please smash up the like button. I don't know what's going on with my trading view. What the heck is going? Like what? Why? I don't know if trading view just crashed or what, but it doesn't load anymore. So let's see. Maybe we have something open that we can still use. Let's talk about Verasity in the meantime, as we basically concluded Metacade. So Verasity it's already like 10 days old or so, but Verasity had a Q4 burn that was not insignificant, right? They burned $235,000 worth of VRA tokens, 45 million. And remember that they already burned like half of their entire CS supply from the war chest, as it was demanded by the community. Token address is here, permanently removed from circulating supply. That's pretty big. So I think that some of these projects where I hope I can, let's try to go back to a normal trading view and see if that works. And let's try to open a VRA chart here on that one. VRA USDT. Let's take this one. Okay, so you see that, I mean, look where it was in the last cycle on the monthly. You know, I like the higher time frames. Also because in last cycle coins you will be able to see when you're getting into overbought territory. But it was at 8 cents, and right now we're sitting at half a penny. So that would be a 16x or so to go back to the all-time high. But let's look at it a little more. So from on a weekly, right? Whenever, in my opinion, right, this is not a guarantee, but whenever you see stuff like this, like rounding bottoms, at some point this breaks out like hell. I have seen it before in other coins like chilies and so on. Yeah, I think it will do extremely well at some point, because then these burns take effect, the story takes effect, and then it goes up again. I think Verasity can still do very, very well. Although what I don't really like is, I mean, it has come back twice to this level, right? This is the ultimate support here, and we're just sitting over it. But there are a couple of coins in the market that hasn't pumped yet and that are declared dead, and then at some point they're just breaking out and running, right? So yeah, here's your back test basically to these levels. If we go to an logarithmic, I think this is why I like the logarithmic more, because you basically see how it's going. Is that a trend line? Oh yeah, it is. So here's your breakout level, right? Whenever we pass this line for Verasity, it's your breakout level, right? So with a look at the time, and we're already 52 minutes in, let's have a quick look at Veve, right? So yesterday or 2 days ago, let's see here, Rick SO says, guys, just joined the live. Any comments about the trial, Ambi versus Orbit? Patient, what's your take? I say it's stressful getting random infos every 3-4 weeks. The problem, okay, so my take on this is, the problem is that a lot of people have opinions and takes on this with very limited info, right? There are things thrown around about this lawsuit that are either pulled out of people's asses with conclusions. Everyone is a judge, everyone is a prosecutor, and everyone is a lawyer, right? Suddenly, like everyone knows exactly what's going on. So if you're looking at the documents, or the documents that are being thrown around from this Ambi technology versus Orbis, you could get the impression, or from the comments on these documents, you could get the impression that that Veve and everyone at Veve and Orbis and Ecomi is under the microscope for I don't know what extensive fraud and whatnot. The documents say otherwise, right? If you read carefully the document, it says that it's about one conversation, and the decision that is made is whether it's admissible or inadmissible to the conversation, right? I'm also not a lawyer. I can be wrong on this, right? So that's what was being thrown around. Overall, the lawsuit around Orbis is about whether Ben Godenzi gets 3% of the stocks or not, right? Because there were a lot of things, like a lot of back and forth between Orbis and MB Technology, because Ben Gaudens basically, he wanted to invest and then he didn't, and then he wanted to invest and then he didn't, and now finally in the end, as everything was successful and there was revenue made, he demanded his share in Orbis, right? And now it's about whether, and now he wants even more and whatnot. So in the end, it's about, does he get monetary compensation? Does he get 3% stocks? Or what, right? So it has nothing to do with whether Ecomi is a security or not. It doesn't have anything to do with whether Veve NFTs are NFTs or not. It doesn't have to do anything with whether Veve NFTs are securities or not. Nothing of that is in this court, right? So I don't know why people give that much weight to it, because in the end, it's only about whether Orbis has to pay MB Technology and how much, right? And the big question is, why is this such a big story on Twitter? That is what we have to ask ourselves, right? So in the end, people are drawing conclusions, even though that a final judgment is not even out. If there's a final judgment, we can read it. It will be public, right? But it's not here yet. Once it's here, we will read it on Twitter. And then we will see if Orbis had to pay something or not. And that's it. Then the story is over, right? That story then is over. So we can only wait and see what is going to happen, right? And but it is stressful. And I bet it's stressful on the Veve team. It's stressful on people that are still in Veve, that like Veve, and it's stressful on everyone that still is a token holder, because so many things are being claimed that are actually not backed by these documents, right? So is it true that there's a discussion about the status of the Veve NFTs, whether or not they are NFTs in whatever sense? Yes, that's true. There's a discussion, only that this lawsuit doesn't have to do anything with it, right? But it's being pulled together as if it was one big balloon. It is not. It's like it's a separate process, right? Rixo says, agree, the trial, it's over and the decision shouldn't take too long now. Exactly. I think the team is waiting before fully re-engaging. Yeah, it's not only about waiting, in my opinion. So the problem is that Dan and David are part of this process as CEO and co-founder. They have to go to these court hearings, and they have to deal with paperwork, and they have to talk to their lawyers, because they're being sued in this civil case to give out these shares, right? So it consumes a lot of time of them to take part in that, right? And it's not about they're not engaging. I mean, you see there's like there are still drops coming out, but I think it consumes a lot of time and energy, and also sentiment within the company to take part in this lawsuit. And also it basically demands them to be present in New Zealand for all of these steps, right? So a big part of the business of David Yu is licensing. So if he has to be present all the time, you can't fly around the world and do licensing, right? So yeah, Jasper Frank says 404 of what? Like 404 of what? What hasn't been found? 404 is like page not found, right? I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so will this be a favorable ruling? Be good for the price? I don't know. Like, will it be good for the sentiment? I don't know. But probably it gets rid of a lot of negativity in the space once the ruling is out. No matter what the ruling is, if Ben and MB Technology gets 3% of the shares, then he probably will sell those shares, and then the story is over. Or at least well, technically, he could just open up another story, right? To harm the project. That could be his strategy, maybe. I don't know. But for now, so that's the story right now. And yeah, the question is how much energy this individual will have in the end, right? To sue Ecomi and Veve for whatever other thing that he wants, or I don't know, like whoever finds another thing to sue Veve, I don't know. The matter of fact is, from all, Comic 404 problems, yeah, I heard about that. So the market doesn't show the comic side, right? Did Veve Comics or Veve comment on that? Let's see. Let us see. Did they should be posting, like, we are aware of the problem. What is that? Blackpink? They're pushing Blackpink. Lisa just confirmed on NRJ Radio that Blackpink will come back soon. Wow, that's actually good news, right? Because having the Blackpink NFTs on Veve exactly at the time where this band is coming back together and they're going to do something together again, that's not bad, right? New comics this week, that's what they're pushing, but where's the comic aftermarket, right? I mean, it can only be like a bug crash, I don't know. Is there an update maybe that Jasper, that you can install? Like, is it only the mobile app or is it also on the web app? I don't know about that, right? I didn't try it. Veve Community Contest, Galactus diorama. So one thing you have to keep in mind about Veve, right, is that where all these other projects, not all of them, but many, are dead since a long time, Veve is still doing drops and is still building, right? Even though that the web app, the new mobile app was kind of a fail, it's improving now, and that's good. I hope that the performance one day gets to like cutting edge smoothness so that it's actually enjoyable again. But Veve has great licenses, great brands, we can't forget that. And they're still alive, which is the most important for me, because of all the NFT projects, I can say already I chose the one that survived, right? So now we want to see, obviously, that new things, like better things, like bigger things are coming, and that these investments actually do well. I know it's for collectors only, blah blah blah, but I'm here for the investment purpose. Deal with it, right? So we will see how this investment does in the long run. So first of all, we will see altcoins crypto going up, but yeah, that's basically it. They have their problems. I will take a look at how this is with the comics, and then tomorrow we can talk about it. But for now, smash the like button if you enjoy these live streams. Takes me some time to research before the streams every day. So if you appreciate that, then please smash up the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I will head out into the snowy landscape right now, and I see you in the next video or live stream. Bye.